Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Fire Force Episode 9, or Ren no Shouboutai Episode 9. Oh my god, this is maybe my favorite episode so far. It was so good. I don't know, last episode might still be my favorite. It's hard to decide. Last episode was incredible. This episode was amazing again. There were so many shots that just looked beautiful. And the fight itself was incredible. Honestly, I think in this episode, every single little thing was amazing. Except for Tamaki. I know a lot of you, I've seen in my comments, agree with me on that, but man, it's crazy because it's like everything in this episode was like perfect. 10 out of 10. Amazing. And then the Tamaki stuff was just unbearably bad. Like, and I usually don't like to call anything bad. I'm like, okay, I don't personally like that very much, but no, this was like so bad that I am willing to call it bad. Like, the Tamaki stuff was to the point where the first time I was watching this episode, and I'm so glad I didn't, I almost turned the episode off and was just like, oh, I'll watch this later. Which is a shame, because this episode was amazing. It's so weird to me how the production staff, this anime studio, how the original writer can get so much stuff so right, can do so many amazing things, and then have something that just completely torpedoes that and takes you out of how good everything else is. Like, it's so weird how poorly Tamaki is written with everything else being so amazingly written. And like I said a few reviews back, I get that Tamaki is supposed to be sort of a parody of the fan servicey characters, but her being a parody of it's like one of those things where the things you do ironically become the things you do for realsies. Tamaki being ironically just this annoying fan service character that's done over the top actually makes her for realsies an annoying character. So yeah, I cannot stand Tamaki or any of her parts in this episode, but everything else was absolutely amazing. I love the Evangelist and Crusader stuff. It's like, they're such cool villains. They seem really powerful, really dark and mysterious, and at the same time, they have this crazy doomsday horrible plan, and they're doing these horrible things, but they think to themselves that they're the good guys, that they're doing right. Oh, it's so good. Kareem is really carrying the show for me. I love Kareem. He's so good. I think Rekka was an amazing villain too, especially when he's like fighting to stand back up after the fight and everything, and he's like refusing to give up and everything. He's like just this hot-blooded evil zealot. It's so... he's such a cool villain. And then the Arthur scene at the end made me, like, actually legitimately wheeze laugh. And a lot of people were thinking that scene was something serious, but there were also people that were saying the same as what my first thought was. I thought that was just a comedy scene at the end. Some people are like, oh, he's smiling ominously. Is he part of the bad guys? But I was like, I'm pretty sure that's just a comedy scene because of how he got lost and everything. So yeah, I don't think it's anything serious. I think he's just an idiot who got lost. But yeah, and also there were things mentioned about like Shinra being the third person that they're looking for, and the pure flame Adola burst, whatever that's supposed to mean, like what makes them a pure flame. But of course the main character is going to have something special about them. But either way, let's go through this episode part by part to talk about it. I thought the opening of the episode was so great, where we had the flashbacky bits, but interspersed with this new stuff, this like, I mean, not the recap stuff, but like flashback stuff that is really, really well animated and really good. So I loved that. The production here just really went insane. Now, one thing this episode is... Rekka kept using this "my stars" line a lot, and it might just be me not paying the right attention, but I don't remember him using that line before this episode really at all, or at least not very much. But he says it a ton this episode as if it was something he said a ton before. Maybe it's something that I just didn't catch before, but it seems like one of those things where if he had been built up through a good few episodes as this kind, good guy who said that a lot, it'd be so heartbreaking and heart-wrenching to have him as now this evil person using that same line. So yeah, if there was more development and more time spent with him as a good guy before this reveal, oh man, it would be so much harsher to watch this fight and everything. So the fight is really, really amazing and really creative. I love the choreography and how there's like some realistic MMA type fighting aspects of it, and yet also some aspects of them using their fire in creative and different ways. Like Shinra putting Rekka in the armbar and then kicking up the flames from his feet to try to burn him while he's holding him down to the ground. Different things like that are really, really cool that they were able to do. But Rekka mentions that he's the third person they're looking for. He mentions the Adola Burst and like a pure flame and all that he's been searching for, that the Evangelist has been searching for. So again, that is all really, really intriguing. It's another mystery behind this world. I love that this world has so much mystery behind it. So I'm excited to get more into that in the future, or to just have all of us guessing at it. Here's where we get to the part where first Shinra runs into Tamaki's boobs, and I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. It's just this funny, in this serious fight and everything, they were doing this funny, lighthearted moment, and I was like, okay, it kind of breaks up the pacing in not a good way, but I'm fine with it. And then came the skirt thing, and then came Rekka burning off her clothes, and it was, oh, and then the kiss too. It was so, again, in an episode where everything else was amazing, this was unbearably bad, which is like the weirdest thing. How can you have something that's so amazing and yet have a scene in it that's unbearably bad? Like, it's just this weird thing where it just doesn't fit with the rest of what's going on at all, in the worst of ways. So yeah, this was the part where I almost turned off the episode my first time watching, because it was that bad. It was hard to get through, that scene at least. Or hard to, like, it breaks up the pacing so badly that it's like, oh, this fight's so awesome. And then that happens, and it's like, I was willing, after as awesome as the fight had been, I was willing to turn the episode off, because I was like, God, this is so bad. How do I keep watching after that? So that lets me know it is not a good thing. If you can take an episode so good and derail it so badly so quickly, yeah, that was totally a misstep. And I don't get the point of continuing to keep Tamaki's character in here. When, again, before I even started reviewing this, or I think it was after I did the episode 1 review, I was like, man, I love this so much, and everybody was like, yeah, this is amazing, the manga's amazing, except for this character, Tamaki, she's horrible. And like, I had just, every comment section I went to was saying that for all the other people's videos I was watching and stuff, and yeah, I see it. It didn't take long for me to see it. She is unbearably bad. I really dislike Tamaki. But we get more of the fight, and again, I'm glad I didn't stop watching, because the fight's amazing. Rekka's flames are stronger, but Shinra can beat him because Shinra has more maneuverability. Everything is a foothold for him, and it's really, really cool how it was used in the actual practicality of the fight. After a while of them fighting, Tamaki finally, after all this time, starts to somewhat care about the kids. But the fight concludes, all of that, and we get this information drop that oxygen is the source of their flames or whatever, which totally makes sense, but it's a cool little bit of lore to throw in there. From there, we have Rekka fighting to get up, and that is so good. It was so cool. And this weird, like, we got some Star Wars music coming in, and I was like, wait, what is this OST right now? But we learn a bit about their goal. His goal is to make the Earth a star, which fits into all of his star-themed stuff. He's just basically going to... Some people want to watch the world burn, like literally. They literally want to watch the world burn. But Karim freezes Rekka to hold him in place, and then the freaking coolest scene, Rekka gets killed, and like, this scene is so good. The scene where Rekka's killed, we have these crusaders sniping from this, like, few buildings away. Oh man, it's so cool. What a cool scene. That was so good. Especially there were some shots where you have just Rekka with the stream of light coming in through the hole in his chest. Ah, it's so cool. It was so good. Um, Fedora Boy loses an arm. I don't really remember his name. It's like Huoyan or something like that. But yeah, he loses an arm. We really haven't seen anything whatsoever out of him, so I have no idea what's going on with him. Um, Kareem, though, has this really cool idea, the way they get out of it. Having Tamaki stretch her flames toward where Shinra sees the enemy, and then having Kareem freeze them so that the enemy will realize, okay, they know where we are, they know the direction we're in. If we're supposed to not get caught, if we're this secretive organization, we need to get out of here. So I love that that was their plan. We can't fight them right now, but we can say, hey, we know where you are, which would cause them to be like, oh, nope, never mind, we can't attack anymore or anything. We need to get out of here or else we could get caught. So yeah, I loved that. It was really, really smart. Then we have Shinra really jumping to conclusions unless they left stuff from the manga out of the episode, because this was something I was sure to pay attention to. So Shinra goes, they have my brother, and they've been training him to be one of them. And I'm like, that's a possibility, sure, but your house fire could have just been a normal fire. That seems to be really jumping to a conclusion. So I was like, maybe Rekka pretty much confirmed that or said something to hint to that, and because of that, that's why I thought that. So I paid attention the second time watching through to make sure I didn't miss anything like that. But no, Rekka doesn't confirm anything about his brother or even hint that they might have his brother, that they might have been behind what was going on. So with all that said, it's sort of a situation where Shinra's really jumping to conclusions here, unless he did say something to that effect in the manga and the anime just left stuff out, because Shinra jumping to that conclusion just didn't make much sense to me. Like, it kind of makes sense if his brother is alive, these people are starting fires looking for a pilot light. Wouldn't it have made more sense to come to the conclusion that he was the one that accepted the pilot light and killed his family because of it, rather than his brother being the one to accept the pilot light and be taken? Like, it just seems like a really weird conclusion for him to jump to. So from there, Kareem becomes another ally, which is cool. It's like what happened with Princess Abana, pretty much, with Shinra in the 8th making these allies to help with their investigation in other groups, which I think is really cool. And then we come to the after credits scene. So this whole situation with Tamaki being the one to bring the kids in there, I think really, if you are to look at it realistically, she didn't know what she was doing. She didn't know that Rekka was being bad. Logically, she shouldn't really be at fault. She shouldn't really be at trouble or be in trouble for that. However, if you were going to use it writing-wise in any way, you could have used it writing-wise to give us less screen time for this character that seemingly everybody hates. Not give her more screen time, not throw her in with the main group. So yeah, it just seems like if you were going to use that writing, logically, I personally don't think she should be punished at all, but if you were going to have her be punished, couldn't you have used that to give her less screen time, not more? But either way, the training has been cancelled because the First is now dealing with this situation with all these reports flooding in of, yeah, one of your guys was behind these children getting burned, and now we have a lot of reports of these children getting burned flooding into the First. Also, during the run there, Arthur was lost, which, yeah, could mean that he's in there with the bad guys, he's part of the bad guys, because there is this similarity between the Knights Templar stuff they had on, the Crusader stuff they had on, and him being a Knight King, King Knight. But still, I don't think so. I still trust Arthur. I think the scene at the end was just, I think it was just a comedy scene, simple as that. If anything, it might be a Star Wars reference. No clue. Because I just say that because of the clothes he was wearing. But either way, another thing I forgot to bring up, I missed one of my bullet points in my notes, was that actually this after credit scene with Tamaki, all the stuff of her reacting to what Shinra was saying was actually done really well and was actually pretty funny, where he was like, "Why are you here?" And she's just like, "What?" And she's like getting really short and angry with him. Or when he asks for her number and then says it's for Juggernaut, and she's like, "Screw it, I'm not doing it then." All of that was actually funny, and then we get back into the Lucky Letcher stuff, which isn't funny whatsoever. So again, it's this really weird thing. I'm still giving it 8 second suns out of 10 because it was amazing. If it wasn't for the Tamaki stuff, it'd be a 10 out of 10. The Tamaki stuff almost made me tempted to go as low as 6, but other than that, the stuff other than the Tamaki stuff was just so good, so amazing, that I couldn't possibly go that low. Even though it is bad to the point where I almost turned off this amazing episode partway through, which is like definitely not good. Don't shoot your own episode in the foot like that, studio. So, yeah, Tamaki is like the one. It's like the opposite of a diamond in the rough. She's the rough in the diamond. She is like in this diamond that's like supposedly like that could be worth a lot of money. She's just this speck of normal ass coal carbon in the middle of it it doesn't ruin it. But you get the point I'm making. She is like the one bad part in something that's like amazingly good. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did like the video, and comment down there to tell me what you thought of this episode and what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more Fire Force, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel or talk to you there. If you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us on Discord about this show or any show or just anything, then ask it. I can give you a link. Discord's open for anyone. If you'd like to help keep the channel going and support it on Patreon, it's patreon.com/HakuWithTheTubes, or to make it easy for you, there's a link in the description. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.